Oh yeah, is it Tuesday already? Is it time for episode 9 of the... Wait, there's no Acolyte today? Wait, the Acolyte show's... Oh, wait. The Acolyte show's over? Who didn't tell me? Okay, I guess change of plans. What are we talking about today? Oh, the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? Skeleton Crew? Acolyte Season 2? Okay. Okay. Change of plans. Change of plans. What's up, everybody? It's Tuesday. And there's no Acolyte show today, strangely enough, because that show ended last week. But we got a lot of news to talk about anyway, because now is when all the news comes out, in between shows, apparently, because when a show's coming out, they don't want to flood the market with nonsensical news that nobody's going to see anyway. So we got Skeleton Crew news, we got major announcements when it comes to San Diego ComicCon and D23, which is coming in a few short weeks. We have Mandalorian and Grogu news, we got Acolyte Season 2 news. We got a lot to get into. But no, there is not a new episode of The Acolyte tonight because that show is over. How's everybody doing on this fine Tuesday afternoon? Let's say hi to the chat. Let me open up the chat so I can say hi to you guys first. Trent, what is up? Brandon Baker in the house. What's up, Brandon? Tony, how we doing? Mr. Revenge, what is up? Mando United, how we doing? Thomas, Mr. Beckham in the house. Joseph, what's up? Starship 66. Chris again. Darth Thor, what is up? Dustin Kennedy, how we doing? King Shadow, if I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. John Navarro, how we doing? James, what is up? Okay, so we do have a few new members. Actually, maybe just the one. James, welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars, James. I appreciate that quite a bit. He joined off stream, but that's perfectly okay. We give you the membership song. Anyway, okay. Wookie Talks is back. What's up? Okay. Let's talk about some Mandalorian and Grogu news and some Skeleton Crew news and some Acolyte Season 2 stuff. But before we get to any of that, we got to talk about something insanely huge that happened with this here Star Wars channel. Okay, so let's talk about it, shall we?
Execute Order 66.
Oh yeah, we hit 66,000 subscribers last night or / early this morning, and that is one of the coolest, if I do say so myself, milestones that a Star Wars channel can hit. 66,000 subscribers, Order 66. I cannot thank you guys enough. This is absolutely awesome, and today we are going to be celebrating 66,000 subscribers by talking about, guess what? Star Trek. Marvel. Battlestar Galactica, okay? Star Wars, that's what it was. Okay, we're going to be talking about Star Wars today. So let's start with The Acolyte, shall we? We have a new description for Darth Plagueis, and we have some other news as it comes to The Acolyte, and then we're going to switch gears completely off The Acolyte and go to what's coming next. But let's talk about Darth Plagueis first, because I'm still on this crazy high from seeing Darth Plagueis last week in live action for the first time ever. So let's see this. Darth Plagueis was put into live action for the first time ever. However, he has been canon for the last 19 years because he was mentioned in Revenge of the Sith. As Palpatine says, have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? We know that. However, him showing up in The Acolyte changes a lot and gives him a lot of canon information. So now in the databanks on StarWars.com, we have a new description for Darth Plagueis. So let's read this, shall we? Okay. Let's read this. Darth Plagueis. Well, that's the picture of him, but it's being cut off by the chat, so I'm going to move it over like this. Boom. There you go. Known in some circles as Darth Plagueis the Wise. That's pretty funny. The Sith Lord Plagueis was once the mentor and master of Darth Sidious, aka Palpatine. According to legends, Plagueis was so powerful that he could use the Force to influence midichlorians to create life and possess the knowledge to even evade death, according to legend. That's what it says, not legends. My fault. In the time of the High Republic, Plagueis was already actively working against the Jedi many years before the fall of the Order. But Plagueis was killed by his apprentice, the former Sheev Palpatine, after teaching his pupil all he knew. So we went from having this actually, I don't even know if Darth Plagueis had a description on StarWars.com, but now he has this really extensive one, as it refers to him being Darth Plagueis the Wise, which is the reference from Revenge of the Sith. It also refers to him being alive during the High Republic era, like we just saw him in the Acolyte series. Doesn't really give us any information about what we could possibly be seeing in a second season, or whether we'll be seeing him again or not, but it does confirm, at least according to legend, not legends. Legends is, of course, the extended universe or non-canon Star Wars. This is according to legend. Like in the Star Wars canon, legend has it that Plagueis was able to influence the Force and influence the midichlorians to create life. That could be something that might come into play further down the line. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Darth Plagueis, I mean, can never get enough of him. That appearance was jaw-droppingly awesome. So, that's about it. That's all I got for you guys for the Acolyte. There's no word about an Acolyte Season 2, but this weekend is San Diego Comic-Con. Now, we're going to talk about what we might be seeing from Star Wars, from Lucasfilm this weekend. It's probably not going to be that much, mostly focused on comics, mostly focused on the books and that sort of side of things. Probably not shows and movies, etc. I think where you're going to get the majority of those announcements is coming in August. August 9th, 10th, and 11th is something called D23. And D23 is Disney's sort of Comic-Con, their own sort of thing, where they announce a lot of projects, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, all of it. So I think D23, which again is August 9th, 10th, and 11th, it's only a few weeks, is going to be where we get the majority of announcements. Maybe a new announcement for an animated show, maybe even a trailer for Skeleton Crew, maybe even some announcements for, let's say, Andor Season 2, Ahsoka Season 2, and maybe, just maybe, the Acolyte Season 2 as well. But I think we're going to have to wait until then to see if that happens just like that. James Frazier, is that a different James? Oh, we got another James member. Hang on. James Frazier. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars, James Frazier. Wow, we got two Jameses, both with the last name that start with F. That's not confusing at all. Yeah, okay, let's start up a poll. I want to start up a poll before we move on here. Before we move on from the Acolyte, one last time, this poll, do you want, now let's put want in all caps, want an Acolyte Season 2? There we go. Yes or no? What the hell? Do you want an Acolyte Season 2? Yes or no? You tell me. And then we're going to move on straight to the Mandalorian stuff because we're going back to the movie theaters. Star Wars is finally coming back to where it was born, on the big screen. And we're finally going back, and the first movie comes out on May 22nd, 2026, just under 2 years from now, and that is the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and we got some awesome news about that. But before we get to it, let's finish off with this poll when it comes to the Acolyte show. Okay. Wookie Talk says the Wookie Cookie Show is next up for LFL, Mike? LFL. What is LFL? Lucasfilm, maybe? Lucasfilm Light? I have no idea. Missing the Acolyte? Me too. I mean, I'm not really, because the finale was so good and it kind of gave me closure for a good ending. I am looking forward to a second season, but that ending was just so good that I kind of feel satisfied, you know? So far away is 2026. It does feel far away. I'll give you that. it's almost 2 more years from now until we get to see Star Wars on the big screen. It sounds like a far distance, but it'll be definitely coming a lot sooner than you think. Oh yeah. No more Acolyte Tuesdays. Nope, at least not until Season 2 gets announced. Indeed. Joseph says, gotta go to post-production meetings. Have a good day. Well, have fun at that. Chris says, wahoo! 66K subs. Way to go. Congrats. I appreciate that. I appreciate all the congratulations, guys. I appreciate it. Anthony, what's up? Says, hey, Mike. Good to see you. Congrats on 66 subs. Thank you. Excited for both The Mandalorian and Grogu and Skeleton Crew. Cool promo poster. By the way, the Acolyte is not canon in my opinion. Again, that is your opinion. But yes, I'm excited for The Mandalorian and Grogu and Skeleton Crew news too. We will get to it. Okay. Stamp Robert says, shut up on the Acolyte. Let's do some sensible thing. Breathe on and forget. Okay. No. John Frag says, I will love to see in the future projects for Ahsoka mentoring Luke. Thoughts? I would love to see that. The conversation between Luke and Ahsoka in the Book of Boba Fett is awesome. It's just awesome. So I'm really hoping that we get more of that, more of those two characters talking, more of those two sort of doing stuff together, and maybe even having a Force Ghost Anakin in on that conversation as well. Indeed. Robert says, I'm happy for the people who liked The Acolyte, but I hope it goes away and someone never returns. Somehow never returns, I think you mean. There's a lot of people who see it that way. I think a lot of fans, so to speak, didn't really like the Acolyte show, and now moving past that are going to sort of be coming back in, so we'll see about that. Connor, what's up? No worries. Wookie Talk says, did you think about what or who Palpatine and Plagueis created when you saw Grogu? You're saying that they created Grogu, is what you're saying? I don't know about that. Catherine, what's up? Zap, how we doing? Mike, do you do ComicCon? One in Saratoga, New York is on November 22nd to 23rd in 2024. I've gone to Fan Expo Boston twice now. I've not been to a Comic-Con specifically. I'd love to go to like San Diego Comic-Con or even New York Comic-Con or even what was the one down in Florida? Those are some of the biggest ones around. I would love to do some of those, but no, I've not. Yeah. Indeed. Wookie Talk says, it'll be about an 80-20 split in favor of the Acolyte Season 2. And do you know what's absolutely insane? I think you sent that chat a pretty long time ago, or at least a little while ago, and it was exactly 80-20 when I just read that. That's pretty wild. Okay, what happened? Did I miss the news? No. Let's get into this Mandalorian and Grogu news, okay? Vaughn Go, what's up? Okay, let's talk about the Mandalorian and Grogu stuff. Shall we? Shall we? On a scale of 1 to 10, and tell me in the chat, how excited are you for this Mandalorian and Grogu movie? We've gotten 3 seasons of The Mandalorian on Disney+, and now he's shifting over to the big screen to be put into the movie theaters. Jon Favreau, who of course created this whole damn thing with Dave Filoni, will be directing this movie. How excited are you? Again, it's still 2 years away-ish, less than 2 years. But how excited are you on a scale of 1 to 10? 8, 10 plus, 8.5, 10, 10. Wow. The Mandalorian gets people excited. There's no doubt about that. Grogu, he's a fan favorite, clearly. So I think there's going to be a lot of hype around it. 10s, a lot of 10s. I see a lot of 10s. 9, nice. 10, 9. Okay, let's read this. This is coming from Screen Rant and talking about when it's going to begin filming. So, wait, now I got to drag it back this way. Star Wars Mandalorian movie reportedly due to begin filming in about 3 weeks. There they are. Ever since the announcement of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, updates about the next Star Wars movie have been quite sparse. But a new report suggests that this project may finally hit the ground running very soon. The movie, based on the highly successful Star Wars TV show The Mandalorian, was first announced back in January of this year. It feels like a million years ago that this movie was announced, doesn't it? We've watched The Acolyte, we've watched Tales of the Empire, we've watched the whole third and final season of The Bad Batch. It feels like 30 years since they announced this Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and it was 6 months ago. Okay. They announced it in January and has received little to no updates ever since. Audiences have been anxiously waiting for any kind of news about this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And now a new report has arrived to offer a semblance of hope and excitement for these eager viewers. That is clearly us. And And Rexton, what's up? Shared by Making Star Wars, the upcoming Mandalorian and Grogu movie is reportedly set to start filming in about 3 weeks. Sure. This would put it about 2 months after it previously was reported to start in June. Do you guys remember when we were talking about that? It was supposed to begin filming in June. I actually think it was supposed to begin pre-production in June, and that was sort of building the sets, doing all of that stuff, and now it's going to begin filming. So that kind of makes sense if you did the math. Okay. Though this delay isn't exactly a concern, seeing that the Mandalorian and Grogu movie isn't set to release until May 22nd of 2026, this time frame for principal photography, easy for me to say, however, isn't the only news included in this report. It is also reported that some scenes of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie have already been filmed with a limited cast. Now, this is not something new. This happens a lot with Star Wars projects, usually with television shows, so it's a little bit different when it comes to movies. But usually when a certain show is filming, they'll have somebody else come on set, maybe on a weekend or maybe on an off day, so that they can use the set to film secret stuff. Usually like Mark Hamill coming back as Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian Season 2 type secret stuff. So the limited cast that they had when they filmed this stuff is probably some secret stuff that's going on in this movie. They probably filmed it. I actually don't know because there's nothing really filming right now unless maybe Andor Season 2. But that I don't know how that would help. But for example, when the Kenobi show was filming, that's when they brought in, I believe, I'm getting my timeline correctly here. Yeah, was it Kenobi filming? Maybe I'm wrong. But when one of those shows, Kenobi or Book of Boba Fett or something, when one of those was filming, that's when they brought on Ahsoka and did some of the Ahsoka stuff that was in secret, like the Ahsoka and Anakin stuff with Hayden Christensen. Yeah. So that's what they're talking about here, that some of the film has already been filmed with a limited cast, which likely includes cast members who will not be available for principal photography. This, of course, brings one name to mind, and that is the Mandalorian himself, Pedro Pascal, Din Djarin himself, who has a famously busy schedule. So Pedro Pascal, he has just become the voice of Din Djarin, pretty much. So it's likely that you're not going to be seeing his face in this movie. And that does make sense coming off the backs of Season 3 of The Mandalorian, where it was really just screwed in that he's not supposed to be taking off his helmet. And the whole gist of the third season of The Mandalorian is for him to go back to Mandalore, bathe in the waters so that he can become a Mandalorian again because he took off his helmet, and that is wrong. Yes, Bo-Katan takes off her helmet all the time, but that's a different sort of section of the Mandalorian religion. But I would guess, if I was a betting man, which I am not, if I was, I would probably say you're not going to be seeing Din Djarin's face, Pedro Pascal's face, in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which is not that big of a surprise, but kind of a bummer, because he's a very busy man. Like they said, a famously busy schedule. The guy's in Gladiator 2, which we just got a trailer for. He's now going to be filming for Fantastic Four, which comes out, I believe, next year, doesn't it? He just finished Last of Us Season 2, and I think he has something else going on this year, too. So he's a very busy man. Very busy. And I would not be surprised if we didn't see his face in this Acolyte. Wow. Okay, in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. If this is truly the case, then it seems as if Pedro Pascal could be seen in the Mandalorian armor in this movie after all, likely without his helmet for the first time since the Mandalorian Season 2 finale. Interesting. They're actually saying the opposite. If this is true, and the limited cast shooting that was announced earlier is with Pedro Pascal, then they could be showing his face because they had to do it when he had time. That's also a possible scenario. Because he's so busy, they had to find a time where he was available to be able to show his face in any sort of scene. Interesting. Imagine at the end of the movie he shows his face. Maybe he's even dying and he shows his face. And they were like, yeah, we filmed that first. That was the very first thing we filmed. That'd be pretty crazy. But maybe. Tell me in the chat, do you think Pedro Pascal will be showing his face as Din Djarin in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie? What do we think? Yes or no? What do we think? Actually, let's pull this. I want to pull this up in the chat. I want to put a poll up in the chat, shall we? Because this other one's not budging. Over 80% of you guys do want the second season, or it's now 79%, but the math is not mathing. 79% of you do want this Acolyte Season 2, but let's put this up. Do you think Pedro Pascal will show his face in the Mando movie? We'll just put it like that. Yes or no? Do you think we will be seeing Din Djarin's face, Pedro Pascal's face, in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie? I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Why? Here's the only thought that runs through my head is the only way his helmet comes off is if he dies. And I know you guys always make fun of me because you're like, Mike, you think everybody's going to die. I understand. Because why else would he be taking off his helmet? That was the whole gist of Season 3, was that he has to keep his helmet on. So all of you guys saying yes in the chat, what the hell do you think that means? What do you think it means? He's just going to be taking off his helmet again? No! That was the whole gist of Season 3! We will see his face. How? That's what I want to know. By the way, 70% of you guys right now, 70% say yes. We will be seeing Pedro Pascal's face in the Mandalorian movie. How is that possible? After all we just learned about the Mandalorian Kree and how he can't take off that helmet in Season 3. How? In a scene where he's alone. That's an interesting one. But what would be the purpose of that? Why would he do that? Why he do that? Why would he do that? Cole says, guys, it's possible we could see him eating or in his own private time with his helmet off. Could just be that simple. I get that, Cole, but what's the purpose of that scene? Just to show Pedro Pascal's face? Just to show that he's there? Just to prove it? I don't know. Wiki Talk says, nope, Din doesn't have to die. The Darksaber and the helmet rules go out the window with Season 3. I don't know if they go out the window. I understand what you're saying because now Mandalore is united. They've taken back their home world. But it seems like the sort of two sections of the Mandalorians, the Bo-Katan section that take off their helmet freely, and the Armorer and Din Djarin's section where they don't, are probably going to remain the same. You don't just kind of throw out your religion like that just because, you know, whatever, we took back our home world. Let's just all take off our helmet all willy-nilly, showing our faces after we couldn't before. You know? I do get what you're saying, though. Golden Child says, yes, we will, because he's going back to the Swamp Waters to visit that chick for unfinished Mando business. What? Who to the what now? Sadly, I know exactly what you're talking about, and that's hilarious. Darth Thor says, we can see his face, but people on the show can't. People in the movie can't. That's true, but again, what's the purpose of that? Why show his face in some off scene where he's by himself and nobody's around? Like, what's the point? Mando's beliefs have changed so much since season 1. That is true, but clearly in season 3, it was still established that he must keep that helmet on. Must keep that helmet on. Sir Gungi, what's up, says he can take it off when he's alone, or it could get ripped off of him in battle. That's true. It could get ripped off of him in battle. And that brings me to a great point. Brings me to a perfect transition. Thanks, Sir Gungi. Let's talk about Grand Admiral Thrawn. Because this Mandalorian and Grogu movie hasn't even begun filming yet, or at least it's kind of begun filming yet. And let's talk about Grand Admiral Thrawn, because he's most likely going to be the villain that's set up in this movie for a sequel movie, which is Dave Filoni's Mando movie. And this is sort of going to be a Heir to the Empire type Mandoverse story. So think about Grand Admiral Thrawn. What doesn't he have? The Force, a lightsaber. He's got his mind, though, and that's what makes him so powerful and such a badass. Grand Admiral Thrawn, in the Star Wars galaxy, where people who have the Force and have lightsabers and Sith and Jedi and witches, those are the most powerful beings in the world. And in that galaxy, Thrawn is on the top tier of badass characters, even though he doesn't have any of those abilities. You know who else is on that top tier? Din Djarin. So now, the Ahsoka show didn't really have the chance to show us Thrawn's real power, because he was going up against Ezra, Sabine, Ahsoka, all Force users, all lightsaber wielders. He didn't stand a chance. However, in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie, now Grand Admiral Thrawn is going to be going up against a non-Force user. Well, obviously Grogu's going to be there, but Din Djarin is more so who I'm talking about. So getting to see maybe a Grand Admiral Thrawn versus Din Djarin would be really, really cool, because we know about Grand Admiral Thrawn that he loves the history and getting to know people. It's very similar to Star Wars Rebels when he's on what's the Twi'lek's planet? Ryloth. He's on Ryloth, and he's looking at all of Hera's sort of ancient history and explaining it to Hera specifically. But we could see something very similar to that scene with Din Djarin in the Mandalorian lore. And Thrawn's probably going to know all about it, and maybe he even rips off his helmet and he's like, look at this. Bleepity bleep, he won't be saying that, but you know, you get the gist. He'll rip off his helmet and just be like, you call this a religion, blah-bitty blue. That would be pretty awesome. That would be cool. If it gets ripped off in battle against Grand Admiral Thrawn, whew, sign me up for that. Chris, welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars, Chris. I appreciate that quite a bit. You know I do. Okay. Rebel Sith says, maybe big amounts of cortosis wasn't able to be mined safely until the big shift in the plates that they do mention in the novel. What? And that's why they had to wear masks. What? Because of the molten heat? What are you talking about? Cortosis? You talking about the Mandalorian? Beskar are you talking about? I have no clue what planet you're on, Rebel Sith. Come back to Earth for me, please. Fearless says, Grogu is the only reason why. Is the only reason why he'd take his helmet off? Grogu's an interesting character. He's still a child. So in any sort of fight, he'll be useful, but he won't be that useful. We saw him tame the Rancor in the Book of Boba Fett. We saw him fight the Praetorian Guards in The Mandalorian Season 3. But he's really still just a kid. Although he has the ability to use the Force and he's very strong with it, he's still not really battle ready like Din Djarin would be, or Bo-Katan would be, or whomever. Yeah. You're talking about Plagueis. I missed your last comment? Okay. Maybe you're on Earth. Maybe I'll give it to you. Maybe I'll give it to you. Thomas says, I think it will be Pedro Pascal. Oh, it will be in Pedro Pascal's contract terms that he will show his face. He wasn't happy after season 1 not showing it. you do see his face in season 1, but I do understand. I get what you're saying. You see it for a brief second. And in season 2, you get a little bit more. But yeah, Pedro Pascal has voiced a lot how he wants his face to be shown more. It seemed to be a big issue behind the scenes, and he even voiced it in front of the scenes as well, in front of the cameras. So I think Pedro Pascal seeing his face is probably a high likelihood. My biggest thing is how. How are you going to show his face and it still makes sense? Qui-Gon Jinn, what's up? Qui-Gon Jinn says maybe he figured out that the armorer is full of shit. That's a possibility. That is a possibility. Because the armorer, we still don't even know who that is. With season 3 of The Mandalorian, we thought that she was going to be a traitor. We thought she was going to be somebody specific, somebody important. And it never happened. So maybe, just maybe, the armorer still ends up being somebody important. Yeah. Ozone says, I'm so excited. Also, when is it coming out? So the Mandalorian and Grogu movie comes out May 22nd of 2026. So not next May, but the following. So about a year and 10-ish months, give or take. So you're talking close to 2 years from now. Yeah. Yeah. It'll be here before you know it. Indeed it will. Indeed it will. Dr. Neko says, show his emotional reaction to something. It could be to show his emotional reaction to something, but what would that be? There's a few characters in this Mando time period that are likely to die by the end of this Heir to the Empire possible trilogy. We'll get to that in a second. But possible trilogy. There's a few characters that have been around since the Clone Wars that could easily die at any moment. One of them being Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan had her limelight in the Clone Wars, in Rebels, and now in The Mandalorian Season 3. Yes, she'll be involved in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. I don't know how much she'll be involved, but she will be involved. But it's likely that she could die at some point in the near future because her character has been around for so long. Yeah. Other characters from the Clone Wars, you got Ahsoka, of course. And even the Rebels crew, they're not around since the Clone Wars, or some of them are, like Hera Syndulla and Kanan Jarrus. But the Rebels crew have been around for a while now, too. A lot of their stories have already been sort of etched out a lot as well. So nobody's really safe in this Mandalorian time period because none of these characters exist in the sequel trilogy. Except for Luke Skywalker, and he's probably not going to be involved too much either. Connor says, he was barely on the set for the last season, just recording lines. It's not going to change from that. I agree. I don't think it's going to change much from that. I don't think he was even on the set at all for season 3. He just came in to do his lines after. Yeah. Indeed. KG says, this movie is going to be about everyone in the Mandoverse against Thrawn and his undead army. I actually don't think so. I think Thrawn will be involved in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie, but I don't think it'll be that big of a role. I think this movie specifically is going to be establishing the Heir to the Empire, establishing the big conflict going on. And then the next movie, and possibly the next movie, will be this big climactic event, big climactic fight against Grand Admiral Thrawn and his army of witches and his army of undead soldiers as well. Yeah. So I don't think this Mandalorian and Grogu movie is going to be that. I think it's going to be more of establishing what's going on here. Yeah. Either he dies or upgrades his armor and shows his face while he's changing helmets. But again, what's the point of that? Like just seeing his face for 1 second, 2 seconds, maybe, if he's just changing his armor. Dying is a different scenario. If he dies, that would be insane. That will be a huge impact in sort of canon event for Grogu's story. Yeah. Why did Kilnaka go into isolation? I'm still confused. Because the witches got in his head. Same thing with Torben. The two characters who got possessed by the witches are the ones who kind of lost their shit. Robert says, the armorer was once viewed as a hard-lined zealot whose views were unwavering. but she's moved on from her beliefs as she shows progress, so Din could easily take off his helmet. It's very true. These characters have gone on arcs, Din Djarin especially, and the armor as well. But still, their helmets remain on. So there could come a point where maybe they take them off. But right now, it still seems like they're gonna stay on. Yeah. Seems like the majority of us are fine with there not being a logical reason for Din to remove his helmet, lol. I would say that I'm fine with seeing his face, because Pedro Pascal is a great actor, and I want to see more of him. But I'm more so saying, off of the end of Mando Season 3, how is he going to take off his helmet, you know? Yeah, I know. Are we not talking about the Acolyte today? Is it straight to Mando talk only? We can talk about the Acolyte too. We talked about it a little bit at the beginning, and we can obviously get back to it at the end. But, you know, we talk about Star Wars here. We're not just tied down to one topic. Right now, we're talking about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. We're going to switch over to the Skeleton Crew news, because that's coming up soon. We got some San Diego ComicCon stuff, Star Wars Outlaws stuff, and even some D23. Jesus Christ. D23. My brain is broken. D23 news as well. So Mr. Revenge says, Pedro won't do a movie if his face isn't shown because he won't get paid as a full actor, only a voice actor. I don't know. I really don't know. Because you look at like Boba Fett in Empire and Return of the Jedi, he doesn't show his face once. And those are movies. So I don't know. I really don't. I think Pedro Pascal probably wants his face to be shown, but that's not really up to him now, is it? Yeah. Have you seen the Beetlejuice trailer, Mike? No, I've not. I cannot say I have. I did buy my tickets for Deadpool and Wolverine, though, going on Friday. Friday at like 4 or something. Yeah. Anybody else going to see Deadpool and Wolverine? Deadpool and Wolverine this weekend? Connor says, it's insane that we spent our most recent season following him regaining honor and taking his helmet off, and now most of you are like, oh yeah, just pop it off for the audience. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Is last season was all about him not being able to take off his helmet. How are we just going to go from that to him taking it off? Unless there's something actually, some big reason as to why he does it. Yeah. Yeah. I think Heir to the Empire will be separate from this and will be smaller scale setup. Oh, and this will be a smaller scale setup. I agree with that, Cole. I think this Mando Grogu movie is just going to be a smaller sort of setup. Galaxy Love, what's up? It will be a smaller setup, and then the next movies are going to be the big sort of Heir to the Empire type thing. Here's what I think's going on. I think this is a trilogy. And if you've been around this channel long enough, you know I've been saying this since it was announced, since actually Dave Filoni's movie was announced over a year ago, last Star Wars Celebration. So I think this has been a trilogy since day one. And this Dave Filoni movie, this Jon Favreau movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu, is just going to be episode 1. Dave Filoni's Mando movie is going to be episode 2, and then they'll work together on a third one that'll probably be titled Heir to the Empire. Now, why? Pretty simple. Star Wars works in trilogies. And if you're already making 2 Mando movies, why not make a third and make it a trilogy? Not only that, you're going to please so many fans by making the Heir to the Empire with Grand Admiral Thrawn. You can bring in Luke, you can bring in Leia, you can bring in Han, and maybe put all 3 of them on the same screen together like the sequels failed to do. So there's a lot that they could do with a possible Mando trilogy that would not only help explain the sequel trilogy, but also give us an incredible story just with Thrawn and all these other heroes. Ahsoka, Din Djarin, Bo-Katan, Boba Fett, Ezra Bridger, Luke Skywalker, Leia, Han, Lando, like all of them back together on the screen fighting against Grand Admiral Thrawn in the remnants of the Empire. Because when the Emperor and Darth Vader died during the Battle of Endor, the Empire didn't just vanish. It didn't. There was millions of soldiers in the Empire. They didn't just vanish. There was battle after battle. Battle of Jaku. Battle of what's the other massive battle there? Whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. There's massive battles after the Battle of Endor because the battle wasn't over yet. Just because their leaders were gone didn't mean it was over yet. And clearly we're seeing that now. Even 5, 6, 7 years later in this Mando time period, they are still around. The remnant of the Empire. They've gone out to the Outer Rim and they're regrouping with Grand Admiral Thrawn and Moff Gideon and all these other leaders of the Empire. And that's what we're going to get to see in this Mandoverse time period. And I think the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is kind of just the stepping stool to what's to come. Yeah. Yeah. Kay says, which includes all of the Dothamirian witches and bros? Oh, Thrawn and his undead army. Thrawn, I don't know if his army is going to be undead or not. There was all those crates of possible witches, and if his army is fully made up of witches, there's going to be a big problem. Because if he has stormtroopers and then he has hundreds of witches, the big issue is how is Thrawn going to compete against Luke Skywalker, Ahsoka, Sabine, Ezra Bridger, like all these Force users with lightsabers, and Thrawn's just a guy. So if they ever come face to face, one-on-one, he's doomed. But if he has an army of witches around him, then things get pretty damn interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Cole Rita says, but whoever stands against Thrawn in this movie is about to get absolutely clapped. That's true. I think this movie is going to be solely to establish Thrawn's dominance. Because the Ahsoka show, although it did a good job introducing Thrawn, it didn't really do a good job of showing how powerful he truly is. Because he's a genius. He's an absolute genius. Smarter than pretty much everybody else in the galaxy, and that needs to be shown. And it's hard to do that, like I said again, against Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine, who are all Force users, when it's just really him, and he doesn't have that big of an army. So now, when he does get an army, he's really going to be showing how smart and how strong he truly is. Indeed. I don't think Disney's going to kill Din Djarin because he's very popular and good looking. I mean, so the second part of that, maybe he's good looking, but you don't see his face. You know? But going back to the first part, they won't kill him off because he's popular. I don't know. They've killed off some pretty popular characters in recent past. That's for damn sure. Talk about popularity when it comes to Luke Skywalker, Leia, Han, you know. Sonny with a three-month membership says Thrawn is a beast. Yeah, he is. And I want to see that. I want to see him be a beast on screen. Yeah, now. Hal Runner Base says, what are the rules of... Wait, what? What are the rules of if the enemy forcibly removes your Mandalorian helmet against your will? Honestly, isn't this... this might be described in one of the Mando seasons. I'm completely blanking, but I believe it's still, like, frowned upon. Because, that first of all, you lost, and then you have to go back to the Mandalorian waters again. The problem before the Mandalorian Season 3 was that the Mandalorian waters were destroyed. Now they're not. Or at least they thought they were destroyed, and now they're not. Yeah. And it depends on what Balin does, whether he gains access to the World Between Worlds or resurrects Abeloth. A lot is dependent on that. I don't know if Abeloth is going to be brought in as the villain of this time period. I feel like if the mother of the Mortis gods came to the Star Wars galaxy and caused some havoc, the aftermath of that might have been, just maybe, might have been mentioned in the sequel trilogy. Maybe not. Maybe not. But I feel like it would. So I actually think they might be establishing Abeloth as a future threat. By future, I mean post-sequel trilogy, possibly even the Rey movie. Like if Abeloth comes in as the villain of the Rey movie, now you're talking. Yeah. Sir Gunky says Thrawn needs new enforcers since he's not with Shin or Balin anymore. Maybe some Mandos. I don't think he'll get Mandalorians. The witches should be good enough. If all those crates were really filled with witches that are going to be on his side, I think he'll be just fine. Yeah. Hey, maybe he does go get a Force user, but I don't know. I don't think so. Cole Rita says, Canon Thrawn is more interesting to me than Legends. More depth in his character and motivations. His motivation for reestablishing the Empire needs to line up with his people. I agree with that. They have to somehow bring this into his actual people because that's what his whole motive is in the novels and throughout all Legends as well. So they got to bring that motive in and explain why him being the heir to the Empire is so important. You have to remember, in the Ahsoka series, he wants to get off Peridea so badly. He's running from something. And Balin even mentions that. He mentions that when him and Shin are chasing down Sabine. They're running from something. They're trying to get off this planet, get off this rock as quickly as possible because they are running from something. Maybe it's Abeloth, maybe it's something else we don't know. But maybe Thrawn's motive is to regain power with being the heir to the Empire, regain control of the galaxy because there's this massive threat coming and he's trying to prepare for the worst. So maybe while he's fighting against Luke, Leia, Han, Ahsoka, and all the other people, he's going to be like, look, guys, there's something coming here. I want to fight you. I really, really do. But I think we should focus on this first. And maybe it's Abeloth. Maybe it's something else. We don't know. But I agree with you. I think Thrawn's motivations need to be specifically clear that it's not really just to take over the galaxy because that's not what his goal is. Yeah. Yeah. I hope we get to see Hera in the New Republic stuff. I think we will. I definitely think we will. Maybe not in the Mando and Grogu movie, or maybe she'll be in it a little bit, but definitely Ahsoka Season 2, and definitely probably moving forward after that when they all sort of come together. Yeah. Yeah. Like, Thrawn is more of an anti-hero than a villain, in my humble opinion. Yeah. I think it's sort of like a certain point of view type thing. He's trying to do it for his people, more or less. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. Let me finish this article, and then I want to move on to this. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. It's about time for some Mando updates. This is just a bunch of pictures of Din and Grogu. Nice. Okay. The most positive part about this reports like these should always be taken with a grain of salt. Though reports like this should be okay, easy for me to say. Is that it finally offers some tangible updates about progress on this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Not only does it give audiences a specific date to look forward to, but it also hints at what's to come in the story, with potential for Pedro Pascal to have already filmed some scenes he was needed for. While all of this has yet to be officially confirmed, it certainly is an exciting step forward for Star Wars and the Mandalorian enthusiasts. Hopefully, this is just the start for the Mandalorian and Grogu news and updates, and it's been a tough year following the Mandalorian Season 3's ending, with little to no information being provided about Din Djarin and Grogu's future, especially in a potential Season 4. Now, however, it won't be much longer before the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is finally in production, officially ushering in the next era of Star Wars movies. And of course, it will hit theaters on May 22nd of 2026. So that's about it. That's all we get. It starts filming in about 3 weeks. Again, this is all just being reported. And some stuff has already been filmed in secret. Possibly Pedro Pascal stuff, possibly something else. Maybe some Luke Skywalker stuff. We have no idea. But some stuff has already been filmed, and they're going to begin filming fairly soon. Now, I want to move over to the Skeleton Crew news, because the Skeleton Crew news connects directly to this Mandalorian and Grogu movie, as Dave Filoni's movie, when it was first announced. Do you guys remember this? Back at Star Wars Celebration last year, when the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, when Dave Filoni's Mando movie was first announced. It was said to be the combination or the culmination of all of this Mandoverse stuff. Not just The Mandalorian, but also the Book of Boba Fett, also Ahsoka, and also Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew was put into that conversation. These characters from this upcoming show that will end this year, they will be in these movies. They will be a part of this story. So although we haven't met these characters yet from the Skeleton Crew, they will be a big part of the upcoming Mandoverse story on the big screen. This Mandalorian and Grogu movie, maybe, but Dave Filoni's movie, definitely. So this show coming up directly connects to all of this. But we don't know anything about this upcoming Skeleton Crew show. So now that we've gone through that Mando and Grogu stuff, out of 10, how excited are you for the Skeleton Crew show? On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for the Skeleton Crew show? I'm truly intrigued to see where you guys are at with the Skeleton Crew. For me, I'd say like a 7. I'm excited. I am. But we don't know anything really about this show. Now, the possibilities, the predictions that we could have are pretty crazy. But I feel like we just don't know anything. Going into the Acolyte, we knew a lot of information. We knew, of course, that it was going to be focusing on the bad guys for once in Star Wars. We knew a lot even before the trailers were released. We knew the cast for over a year. We knew the cast of characters. We knew that there was going to be a lot of Jedi. We knew when it was going to take place, all this. We don't know anything really when it comes to the Skeleton Crew show, at least until the other day when we got this leaked photo, which we'll go over. But for me, I just need anything. A trailer, official images, something to latch onto, something to dissect, something to get my interest spiked, because I know I'm going to be excited for this show. It has all aspects of being great, at least behind the scenes. If you don't know the backstory to the Skeleton Crew show, it goes like this. While working on Spider-Man No Way Home, which was the one with Tobey and Andrew, while working on that movie, Jon Favreau, who of course is in the movie as Happy, he was working with John Watts, who is the director of the movie. And John Watts came to Jon Favreau with an idea for a Star Wars project, and that idea was Skeleton Crew. And unknowingly, at the time, they were working on this Mandoverse time period. And Jon Favreau said, oh, that's a great idea. Let me go pitch it to my boy, Dave Filoni. And that's what he did. And Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau loved this idea so much that they streamlined the thing. And now it's already going to be coming out this year. I believe No Way Home came out in 2021, 2022. So only a few years after Spider-Man No Way Home has been released, this Skeleton Crew show was made. And it was made so quickly because it connects to not only the other stories in the Mandoverse, but also because it's such a great story that John Watts pitched to Jon Favreau. That excites me. The fact that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni heard this idea and said, we got to make this immediately, that excites me. That's what puts me at that 7 out of 10. But the other 8, 9, and 10 out of 10, I need something. I need to know what this show is about. And that brings us to why we're here today. This poster was leaked, I guess. This is the somewhat official, not official poster for the Skeleton Crew show. Now let's take a zoom in on this. So it says Skeleton Crew down at the bottom there. Same sort of logo that it was announced with. It's a kind of grainy photo, but you get the gist. So here are our main 4 characters. Boom, 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 and boom. What's one thing you notice? Looks an awful like Max Rebo to me. This is confirmed to be a member of Max Rebo's species. What's Max Rebo's species again? Somebody help me out. Max Rebo's new son. Now, I don't think they're related, but they are of the same species, yes. But these 4 kids, I believe they're supposed to be like 12 or 13, are supposed to be the main characters of this show. And as you can see, this sort of shadowy silhouette over here, right there, you see the 4 kids following a bigger figure, which is supposed to be the adult character, and that is being played by Jude Law. Give me 1 into the chat if you know who Jude Law is. Anybody? You know who Jude Law is? He's probably most known, I would guess, for his role in the Captain Marvel movie. I mean, he's very well known for, he's Watson in the Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. He's Dumbledore, I believe, in the new Fantastic Beasts movies. He's in a lot of stuff, but he's a pretty big-time actor. Yeah. What's the holiday? Some famous guy. Yeah, he is some famous guy. Yeah, true. Yes, he's some famous guy. Yeah. The kids in Skeleton Crew are definitely Force sensitive. As far as we know, no. However, we do know that Jude Law's character is going to be Force sensitive. And the only reason we know this is because at Star Wars Celebration last year, a trailer was released. Let's think about that for a second. Over a year ago, Star Wars Celebration was in 2023 in April. So you're talking about almost close to a year and a half. A year and a half ago, a trailer was released at Star Wars Celebration for the people who were there for this Skeleton Crew show. Now, granted, it was a very short trailer, didn't really show much. But still, they had enough finished a year and a half ago to release a trailer. Where is the trailer now? We'll get to it. But in that trailer, so it was reported, Jude Law uses the Force, or at least it looks like he's using the Force to force an object into his hand. Does this confirm he's a Jedi? No, but it does confirm that he is able to wield the Force. It's possible that he's a former Jedi who survived Order 66. We don't know. But Jude Law is going to be the sort of helpful figure in this show, helping these 4 kids get back home, and he will have some sort of Force ability. Yes. Now let's talk about a trailer. When do you think we will be seeing a Skeleton Crew trailer? Tell me in the chat. When do you think we will see a Skeleton Crew trailer? I don't think it'll be this weekend this weekend at San Diego Comic-Con. I do not think it will be at San Diego Comic-Con. But when do you think we will get it? And while you're at that, can you just throw some good cups follow orders in the chat, please? Bum ba! D23. Yes. Sir Gungi, Galaxy Love, yes. D23. Absolutely. So, you're talking, when the hell are we going to get a Skeleton Crew trailer? 2 weeks. What's today's date? The 23rd. So, yeah, just about two and a half-ish weeks. Give or take 17 days. So in about 2.5 weeks, we could be getting the trailer for the Skeleton Crew show. And that will hopefully really be good. And we'll get to get hyped up for the next show. That will be amazing. Alien babies? Yes, alien babies. Indeed. What's really weird to me about this is the name of the show and this. There's 2 skeletons here, of course, Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew, I'm sure, is just the nickname that the kids give their crew with Jude Law's character, I'm sure. But skeletons have to have some sort of meaning to the whole show. There has to be something that these skeletons have to do with the story. And then, of course, we haven't even talked about it at all, but this droid in the middle. This droid doesn't really look like a droid we've seen much in Star Wars, from what I can tell, or at least it's a modified version of one. And I'm sure this droid's going to play some sort of, hopefully, hero role, but again, we'll have to wait and see. I could see it being like a sort of a crew, Skeleton Crew, where this droid is involved in that crew as well. I'm guessing this planet behind them is probably their home world, which they're trying to get back to. I don't know. Fully speculating. All I have to work off of is this. I am just now realizing his outfit, and that's hilarious. He looks like he's either Santa Claus or I guess that's it. He's Santa Claus. That's hilarious. This girl looks like Cyclops from the X-Men. She looks like nobody, I guess, and I guess nobody again. So yeah, you got Santa Claus and Cyclops in the same Star Wars show. How can you go wrong? Droid looks like he could be evil with the position in the poster. I guess, yeah, because usually they put the villain at the top, and he's usually the biggest character when it comes to most posters, and there isn't really any villains on this poster anyway. It could be. It definitely could be. But this could also just be a poster of all the heroes in the show. You know? We do know for a fact that pirates will be in this show as well, and the pirate from The Mandalorian Season 3, what the bleep is his name? What was the pirate from The Mandalorian Season 3's name? The guy who got away. It was Vaude. No. Vector. It starts with a V, I think. Voldemort. No, but I'm getting close. Vomit. No. Anybody in the chat? Oh, Vane. Oh, Vane. Okay, Vane. Thanks. I just saw 1,000 Vanes go flying past. Vane, yes. Vecna. There you go. No, Vane. So the pirate from The Mandalorian Season 3 named Vane, if anybody in the chat could have gotten that before me, Vane is definitely going to be in this Skeleton Crew show. So we'll have some confrontations with pirates and maybe even some other characters we don't know. I just saw somebody say Hondo Unaka. The Skeleton Crew does have the opportunity to do something really, really cool. Hondo was first introduced in the Clone Wars. He's been in Rebels. Bringing him into live action would be awfully cool. But there are a few other characters that could be brought into live action for the first time ever in this Skeleton Crew show. And those characters are, in no particular order, there are two huge ones. Any guesses? Any guesses, chat? Two huge characters that haven't been in live action yet that could come into live action in this Skeleton Crew show. Johnny Depp could play Hondo? Yeah, he could. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Hondo? No, not Hondo. Yes, well, yes, Hondo, but no, not Hondo. Mr. Bones? What? No. 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 Maybe there are 6 of them, but 2 of them die on their journey? I don't think so. I don't think so. R2-D2 and Chopper? Well, both of them are already in live action. Both of them are already exist in live action. Maz Kanata? She already exists in live action too. As Morrigan? That's a pretty good one. No, you guys got to think bigger. Think bigger. Leia and Han. I don't think you guys understand the assignment here. These are characters who have never been in live action before. Fearless got one of them. Omega. I think Omega could definitely show up for the first time in live action in this show. Omega, of course, was first introduced in Season 1, Episode 1 of The Bad Batch. And we just finished off her story in The Bad Batch Season 3, where she's a lot older now and went to join the rebellion. So it's highly likely that if she survived the events of the war between the rebellion and the Empire, that she is now working with the High Republic and could, in some sort of way, play into this show. Absolutely. Ventress would be great. Ventress would be, she wasn't the one I was looking for, but Ventress would be really cool. Yeah, that'd be cool too. But Omega definitely could be somebody who would be put into this show. 100%. Yeah. Harrison got it. Cal freaking Kestis. Can we talk about it for a second? Can we talk about it? Cal Kestis was introduced in Jedi Fallen Order. And then he got a sequel game called Jedi Survivor, and now they're working on the 3rd game. At some point, he is most likely going to be coming into live action. as they made Cal Kestis look exactly like his voice actor, Cameron Monaghan. And Cameron is a fan favorite character. So is Cal Kestis. He's a fan favorite actor, and his character, Cal Kestis, is a fan favorite character. So Cal Kestis, at some point, should be coming into live action. And it has to be in the Mandoverse because he's not in the original trilogy and he's not in the sequel trilogy. If he joins the fight, if he joins Ahsoka, Ezra, Sabine, Luke Skywalker, maybe even, in this fight against Grand Admiral Thrawn and whomever, that would be amazing. So damn cool. Cal Kestis would be awesome. Why get a recognizable actor to portray him if you're not going to bring him into the shows or movies? Exactly. And I think this show, in particular, has the best possibility of bringing Cal Kestis in because of a few reasons. One being, what is this show? What is this show? Skeleton Crew, we don't know what the plot of this show is going to be at all. These kids, they do something. Why does that matter? You have massive stories being told in the Star Wars universe right now, from Ahsoka and this whole setup for the Heir to the Empire, to the Mandalorian, to Andor, to Kenobi. You're just going to make a Skeleton Crew show just for the fun of it? No. There is going to be way bigger just ramifications because of this Skeleton Crew show. I don't know what it will be, but it will be a surprise. Just like The Mandalorian was. This Skeleton Crew does give off Mando vibes. Before Mando Season 1 dropped, we had no idea what this show was going to be about. We knew it was a Mandalorian, but that was about it. They didn't even put Grogu in the advertising for the show, and he was the biggest part. It was a huge risk, and it succeeded. Now they have the opportunity to do something very similar. We're going into the Skeleton Crew show pretty much blind. We don't know anything about it. And the possibility of seeing characters like Omega or Cal Kestis are high, very high, because there is no pull to this show, and they need a pull to the show. They're not just going to go on with having the lowest views for a Disney Plus series. They're not just going to do that just because they wanted to make this show. They're going to have some pull to it. The significance of the greater story, the possibility of seeing Omega or seeing Cal Kestis in an early episode to draw in the fans, draw in the attention to this show that nobody knows a single thing about. That is highly likely. Highly likely. And, of course, Jude Law's character. He could be a Jedi, and that would be a connection directly to Cal Kestis. Maybe they were friends before. We have no idea. Yeah. Indeed. Lobo says no. They should be no Cal Kestis until Respawn is done with him. We can talk about that too. This show comes out this year. Cal Kestis still has another game to get through. There's still going to be a third of those Jedi games. I don't know. I would rather see him in live action and then go back and finish off that story than not having him in live action again. How about Quinlan Vos? Quinlan's a good one. We haven't seen him in a very long time since the Clone Wars. Yeah, it's been forever. So I would be 100% down with seeing Quinlan Vos in live action again, but I just don't know where they would do that. Like, sure, in Skeleton Crew, but Cal Kestis or Quinlan Vos, I feel like they're not even in the same conversation, you know? Yeah, now. Kay says, I hope so, but I thought they were going to bring him. I thought they were going to wait to bring him into live action until after his game trilogy. They could definitely do that. Just wait till after his game trilogy, and he could possibly not be in Skeleton Crew. Again, that's just my theory right now. But if there's any place to bring him in that would be like the most logical place, I would say it's Skeleton Crew. Yeah. Abby, what's up?
Hello there.
Howlrunner Base says Cal will likely bite it in the third Jedi games. When is that supposed to be released again? I don't think it has a set release date. I know they're working on it already, and actually the news was that they've been going a lot faster than they expected. with this third Jedi game. But you think Cal Kestis will die in his own video game? I don't think so. I think there's a lot more story to be told when it comes to this. Yeah. Especially this beloved character. I would rather have Rex over Cal. Okay, let's talk about Captain Rex. Captain Rex, I don't think will show up in Skeleton Crew, but he could 100% show up in the Acolyte Season 2. I'm sorry, what the hell's wrong with me? Ahsoka Season 2. It's not my fault. They all start with an A. They all start with a freaking A. Ahsoka Season 2. That's where Captain Rex would most likely show up next. He'll be old as hell, but he could show up in there anyway. Yeah. Yeah. Perfect time to bring him in. He definitely is coming one way or another. Yeah. Cal Kestis will eventually come to live action. Why not here is sort of my thing. Why not here? The actor's definitely old enough, and he clearly was cast for a reason. Hal Runner Base says, we are not seeing Cal Kestis in the Mandoverse show before his third Jedi game takes place. Why not? I don't think he would die in his own game. That would just seem stupid. So I think it's more likely that we could be getting him in live action before his game releases. Yeah. I think the droid is hunting them down. That's not a bad theory. I like that. This droid is hunting them down. The droid is a little weird because he's got one red eye, like one evil eye and then one normal eye. Maybe he's half evil? Maybe he's got an evil twin? I don't know. I really don't. I can't get over this Santa-looking motherfucker. It's hilarious. But yeah, he's definitely got one red eye for a reason. Looks pretty evil to me. Mr. Revenge says, thin out Boba a little and de-age him, and we can get all our favorite clones in live action. Imagine how much that would cost, though, just to have like live action clones like Rex and I guess any that you want if you're going to de-age him. But imagine how much that would cost to de-age tens of, if not hundreds of clones just to make a live action version of what already exists. You know? I don't know. Harrison says, I did think the next animated series might be a Hidden Path show with Omega, Asajj, Quinlan, and Cal. I thought that at one point, and then the way that the Bad Batch Season 3 ended made me think not. Because Omega's a lot older now. And if the Hidden Path show is going to take place, it would take place almost immediately after the events of the Bad Batch. Not the 10 years into the future that it was at the end. I don't know. I think we are definitely going to be getting the next animated show announced at D23 in a couple weeks. What that show will be about, I have no idea. I have no clue. It could be a Hidden Path show. It could be Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple show. But we just don't know. Skywalker Academy, what's up? What is up? Tamara Morrison put on a little too much weight for the Mandalorian armor, LOL. I don't think so. I mean, he was getting a lot of those Boba Fett memes thrown at him. I disagree. The problem was, yeah. Trent says, I hope it is better than the Acolyte. I'm going to struggle watching kids as the main characters regardless. It's going to be an interesting show because it's very different from what we've been getting in recent past. Yes, kids are going to be the main characters, but it's probably going to be more focused towards a more general kid audience. I'm just more so concerned, or at least skeptical about how far down that path they're going to go, how kiddie they're going to make it. I don't think they will, because it's going to be connected to the Mandalorian time period. It's going to be connected to the Mando verse, and these characters are going to be brought into the greater story. At least Jude Law, I'm sure, will be. So I don't know how much they're going to go down that path, but we're coming off of a show in the Acolyte, where we saw Chimere snapping people's necks, stabbing people choking to death in front of us, in front of our eyes, people's heads getting chopped off. So I think it's going to be a very different feel than that. I don't know how many lightsaber fights we're going to be getting. I think this show might have more of a feel to it like Solo, a Star Wars story, or even like Andor, where there's less lightsaber duels and more chase scenes in space or chase scenes on speeders or whatever it may be. Yeah. With pirates and stuff. Ahsoka in the Skeleton Crew and is Star Wars Celebration 2023. They said that the crew will end up in the Peridia Galaxy too. I don't think so. I don't think Ahsoka will be in this show because she is trapped on Peridia with Sabine. So I would say no. I just don't think so. Hey, maybe that is why Skeleton Crew is being created. That's definitely a possibility. Skeleton Crew is being created. It exists in the Peridia Galaxy because where Peridia is in Ahsoka, that's a completely different galaxy than the one we know from Star Wars. So maybe this Skeleton Crew show does take place in that galaxy, the Peridia one, and the Skeleton Crew characters are established so that they are the ones who can rescue Ahsoka and Sabine. Could be. They could be the ones who bring them back home, and then they join the fight. Like a glorified Uber driver. Could be. I like that theory quite a bit, actually. I like it quite a bit. Yeah, I've always thought that they didn't want to bring Cal Kestis in until the games were done. I really don't know. I don't know where the third game is at. It could be a year till it comes out. It could be 2 years. It could be 3 years until it's released. And I don't want to wait that long just to see Cal Kestis in live action. Yeah. A Jedi Uber? Yeah. Yeah. By the time of this show, Cal Kestis could have his own Padawan. He could. I just don't know where it would be. When you talk Cal Kestis, you got to talk Merrin too. Merrin is just as an important character because she is a Night Sister. And you think about Thrawn's connection to all this now, him being the heir to the Empire, he just went to Dathomir with all of these crates full of undead witches. How are you going to get inside information about Night Sisters, Dathomir, and witches? Oh, how about Cal Kestis' girlfriend, Merrin? So you have an inside scoop right there. Yeah. Be pretty cool. Seems like we're connecting some dots here. That's for damn sure. Indeed. The kids in the show encounter Jude Law's character, who is a former Jedi. I don't know if he's a former Jedi, but he definitely is a Force user. I want to show about Basil. Yes. Yes. Let's do it. Why not? It looks like an EXD infiltrator droid from Rebels. Okay, let's look that up. XD infiltrator droid. Okay. Ooh, interesting. Not really. I like where your head's at, but not really. Let's try and put them side by side here. Actually, a lot now. Now that I put them side by side, they look very similar. You got this guy right here, and then this guy. They got the same sort of thing going on right there on their head. It's just other than that, everything else looks different. Like the whole bottom half of his face looks very different. Maybe it's like a new variation of it. I don't know. I like where your head's at, though. Indeed. Cameron Monaghan, Cal Kestis, is 30, and the games take place around 9 BBY. So Skeleton Crew takes place around 9 ABY. So about 18 years later. So he would be about 48. Interesting. Interesting. As long as we get KOTOR show with Keanu Reeves as Revan, I'll be happy. Let's just take a second to talk about that, okay? Just a brief second. Do you guys still want Keanu Reeves to play Revan? Yes or no? Tell me in the chat. Do you still want Keanu Reeves to play Revan? What the heck? I see a lot of yeses. I see a lot of yeses. Could be a different variant. What are you talking about? This isn't Marvel. Yeah. No. I do not. I absolutely do not. No. Keanu Reeves, no. Maybe, just maybe, an old version of Revan. But if you want to tell Revan's story, it's a long one. And you want to start at the beginning, when he's a lot younger, like 16, 17, 18 years old. You don't want to start when he's 60. So although Keanu Reeves was at some point the best fan cast for a Star Wars character ever with Keanu Reeves, I think, sadly, the time has passed, unless he's going to be playing an older variation of the character. I think he could, maybe in a holocron or whatever, but I don't think it's the best option, especially if you want to do a very long story with Darth Revan. You're probably going to want to get a younger actor. Yeah. He doesn't really look 60. I absolutely agree, he doesn't look 60. But think about it this way. There are currently, as far as we know, is no plans to go to the Old Republic era anytime soon. We're going to the Dawn of the Jedi first, which is not until at least 3 or 4 years. That means we're not going to be going to the Old Republic at least 5 or 6 or 7 or maybe even more years than that. So now you're talking about a 65-year-old, 66-year-old Keanu Reeves just starting out as Revan. Don't you want decades of Revan stories? So he's going to be 90 playing Revan? I just don't. I'm nah. Chris says, isn't Cal Kestis' game based like 18 to 17 BBY? And he's a teenager at that point. If the Skeleton Crew, he'd be in like his 40s by then, if my math is correct. I don't think it's 17 BBY. Oh, maybe the first game, because there's a 5, 6, 7 year gap in between the first two games. But yeah, Cal Kestis will be a lot older by the time of the Mandoverse. So I don't know, maybe they'd age up Cameron Monaghan, maybe give him some gray hairs and makeup. I don't know. Didn't even realize Keanu Reeves was 60. Me either. It's kind of a surprise because he looks so young. Yeah. Von Go says, when does Cal Kestis die? He's one of my favorite characters along with Mace and Ezra. That's a great list. All those characters are very similar, by the way. They all have like sort of a dark side to them. But when does Cal Kestis die? We don't know. I mean, he doesn't have a specific date of death right now in current canon Star Wars. There's a lot of story to be told with that character. There's a lot left to be told. So hopefully not for a long time. Cal is a quite bit younger than Anakin and Ahsoka. Yeah, he's definitely younger than Anakin and Ahsoka. But Anakin's dead, and Ahsoka's a different species that can live a lot longer than humans. Indeed. He could be a cool Jedi Master with a beard. He could be. He could be. Okay, let's talk about this then. Let's talk about when this Skeleton Crew might come out. We've heard the holiday season. But what does that mean? The holiday season sort of begins in late October and moves all the way till the end of the year. Till the new year, pretty much. So when is the Skeleton Crew going to take place? Or, sorry, not take place, but release. When is this show going to release? For that, I want to read this article. This is coming from Star Wars News Net, and this is from director Lee Isaac Chung, who wants this series to be repeat viewing for families on Christmas. So this is coming from a director from the show. Lee Isaac Chung actually did episodes, if I'm not mistaken, of Ahsoka and The Mandalorian. I know for a fact he was on Ahsoka. I don't know if he's on The Mandalorian too, but let's read this. The Acolyte is the only first of 2 live-action Star Wars series coming out this year. Skeleton Crew, coming from showrunner John Watts and exclusive producers Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, is set to debut on Disney Plus this Christmas, or at least around the holiday season. And one of its episodic directors just commented on what to expect from this series. Lee Isaac Chung, the acclaimed director behind Minari, sure, and the 5th episode of The Mandalorian Season 3. Oh, so maybe he didn't work on Ahsoka. Why did I think he worked on Ahsoka? He was on Mando Season 3. Has this new movie Twister coming out. Oh, he directed Twister. Has anybody gone and seen Twister yet? Anybody? I heard it made a lot of money this weekend. I heard it made a lot of money. Yeah. Speaking with Games Radar to promote the film, Chung was asked about Skeleton Crew and what tone viewers are expected from his new series. He explained that it has a lot of John Watts' sensibilities as a storyteller. Here's what he said. I can't wait for people to see this thing. It's got a lot of John Watts in it, and anyone who is a fan of what John does, he's very childlike in a beautiful way, in the way that he tells stories and how he captures a childlike perspective in things. He brings that beautiful perspective into the story of young people in the Star Wars universe. So, again, if you don't know who John Watts is, he did all 3 Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. So if you like that sort of storytelling style, if you're a fan of those movies, which I love those movies, I think the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies are probably the best. It's definitely the best trilogy. I know Andrew didn't get a trilogy, but it's definitely better than Tobey's trilogy. Spider-Man 2, the Tobey one, is very, very good. But I still think Tom Holland's is the best, and John Watts created all 3 of those. Now, he's taking that sort of perspective to the Star Wars universe. Twister or Twisters? Oh, it's called Twisters. That's funny. Why is it Twisters? Is there multiple Twisters? I guess. But let's keep going, I guess. These were the creators that were announced for Skeleton Crew, along with Dave Filoni right there and Jon Favreau right there. So John Watts is creating it. They got David Lowery. I don't know who that is. Daniels is his name, like Cher or Beyonce. Like, what's going on here? Jake Schreier, sure. Bryce Dallas Howard, which is great. Lee Isaac Chung, which is great too. So these 2 are have been there, done that type people. They've already worked on The Mandalorian. They've already worked in this business with these specific guys. So that's good to see. I feel like Bryce Dallas Howard's the most underrated director in the world right now. But he went on apparently, he jumped on board as soon as he got the sense of what John Watts was going for. He also was looking forward to families getting on their couch this Christmas and enjoying the series over and over again. So this is what he had to say. I felt like I hadn't seen this. When I read all the scripts and when I was looking at the designs of what he was designing, he asked if I would be on board. It was a no-brainer for me once I had saw what he was working on. And then also working with him on that show. And with Jude Law, and all the incredible actors who we have. It's a lot of fun. And we just have fun all the time. The kids were incredible and great. What I hope is that we're really going to touch families, and families are going to want to spend a lot of time with this show. So he didn't mention Christmas in there, which is very interesting to me. I thought he was going to, but let's finish this. No official release date has been given to Skeleton Crew, but we do know that it's coming out in the holiday season, in that Disney Plus end-of-year play, much like Percy Jackson and the Olympian last year, and it will follow up Marvel's Agatha All Along series, which premieres in September. the second season of the animated anthology Tales of the Jedi is also set to come out this fall. I don't think this is the case anymore. I think season 2 of Tales was just turned into Tales of the Empire, but I might be wrong. I could be wrong. Okay. What this article is telling us is obviously that Lee Isaac, he's very excited for this show. But what it's telling us sort of behind the scenes here is when this show could come out specifically. Yes, we know it's the holiday season, but this line right here about Agatha All Along coming out in September is pretty huge. I don't know when it comes out specifically. Let's look this up. When does Agatha come out? Agatha premieres on September 18th, 2024, with 2 episodes. I believe it's probably going to be another 8-episode series, if I'm not mistaken. I think. 2-episode premiere. So you're talking about running for probably 7 weeks, 6-7 weeks. So you got, let me pull up a calendar here. Calendar. Let's do some investigating work here. I just bit my tongue. Ow!
I got a bad feeling about this.
That was the worst. Okay, let's take a gander at this. It releases on a Wednesday. Okay. How do I want to see this. Oh, wait. Here we go. Aha. Okay, cool. This is a calendar. You guys know what a calendar is? This is a calendar. So this is the 18th. This is when Agatha comes out. Right there. So let's say it's a 2-episode premiere. We're talking about an 8-episode show. Episode 3, episode 4, episode... Shit. Where was I? Episode 3, episode 4, episode 5, episode 6, episode 7, episode 8 would be on the 30th, the day before Halloween, October 30th. That would mean either the following week, which is November 6th, November 13th, November 20th, or November 27th is most likely when this show is going to be released. So I would guess probably the 6th or the 13th to give 1 week after Agatha ends to sort of breathe and then put us right into the next show. Also, this is the holiday season because it would probably be a 1 or 2 episode premiere, and then it would go episode 3, episode 4, episode 5, episode 6, episode 7, episode 8 would be Christmas Day. I don't know if they'll do that, actually. I don't know if they do that. But this actually makes things very interesting. If Christmas is on a Wednesday, then the show will probably end the week before Christmas, if I were to guess. I don't think they would want to release an episode on Christmas. That's just my guess. So let's do math backwards now. Episode 8, episode 8, episode 7, episode 6 is the 4th. Episode 5, episode 4, episode 3, and that would put 2 and 1 maybe on the 6th. I guess I did the math wrong. So I would, if I were a guessing man, or a gambling man, which I'm not, I would put all my money on 6th of November being the release date of this Skeleton Crew show, just because of when Agatha releases and just because when Christmas takes place this year as well. Yeah, that's what I would guess. Indeed. Indeed. Fila says, in all caps, life's too short to argue with strangers about Star Wars, and I love Star Wars. I don't know what prompted you to say that, but yes. Okay. Oh, we got a guy. That's why. Okay. The Daniels, I think, for everything is from everything, everywhere, all at once. Oh, they're like dual director type deal. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I thought they were just like Beyonce or something. Bryce Dallas Howard lost me with her Lizzo episode in season 3. That's definitely not her best. That's for damn sure. But Jack Black's great in that. And hang on, someone's swearing in the chat now. Okay. Sorry, buddy, but swearing is not allowed. Especially when you're saying it like that. You can swear for other reasons. Comedical purposes are better. Okay, where was I? I completely lost my place now. Thanks a lot, buddy. Poop. Oh, we were talking about Daniels? No. Oh, Bryce Dallas Howard, season 3. Yes, you had, we can't swear. You can swear, but like, you know, you can't. I mean, I think the bot will actually stop it anyway, so we'll see. UV Clips, what's up? What is up? Someone just got kicked. They got timed out. They'll be back after they've thought about what they've done. Okay. Back to Bryce Dallas Howard's episode with Lizzo and Jack Black. Yeah, that's not her best. That's for damn sure. Oh my God. Bryce should have just had a Star Wars movie, to be honest. I think she'll eventually get one, but I think she's building up towards that. I think every Star Wars director, somebody who directs a Star Wars movie, should have to do at least 1 or 2 or 3 episodes of a show first, just to get the gist of it and live in the Star Wars universe directing a show. It's the same thing with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. They've done these episodes of The Mandalorian first, proved themselves, and now they can go do movies. Yeah. Indeed. I heard before that Tales of the Empire that I heard before Tales of the Empire was greenlit that Tales of the Jedi was greenlit for season 2. Yeah, I think Tales of the Empire was just what they were talking about. Because last year at Star Wars Celebration, they announced that there would be more Tales of the Jedi. There would be a second season. But they didn't announce Tales of the Empire. So I actually think that Tales of the Empire was just sort of the surprise for Tales of the Empire. I mean, for Tales of the Jedi Season 2. Maybe there's both. That's a possibility. If there was a Tales of the Jedi to end this year, that'd be fan-freaking-tastic. I'd be all for that. Let's just talk about what we got for the rest of the year, shall we? So in order, it goes like this. This weekend is San Diego Comic-Con. So San Diego Comic-Con will probably get some announcements about comic books and all that other stuff. More of sort of the hardcore Star Wars fans type deal with the comic books and novels and everything. Then we have D23 in about 2 weeks on August 9th, 10th, and 11th. Then after that is Star Wars Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws is released on August 30th. And that game looks incredible. Every trailer that they drop for that game looks better and better and better. An open world Star Wars game, it's literally GTA meets Star Wars. And it looks awesome. It looks so damn good. And then after that, I believe in September, I don't know when exactly, but in September, we're getting Rebuild the Galaxy, the Lego Star Wars Lego What If series. We're going to be getting Darth Jar Jar and all that stuff. That'll be pretty cool. I'm hoping they'll do some cool stuff with that. I don't know how I don't have very high hopes for that. We'll put it that way. But then to end off the year, probably around that November 6th time, if I were to guess, will be when Skeleton Crew is, and that will end our year. So if they could put in Tales of the Jedi Season 2 somewhere in there, that would be awesome. But we already have a very jam-packed rest of the year. And I know it's not that jam-packed, but it's pretty packed, for damn sure. Yeah. Yeah. Someone just said, Mike, goddamn, dude, you just kicked people who disagree with you, even if they censored themselves? Absolutely not. We have countless people come in here that disagree with me every stream. I've only ever kicked like 6 people max. It's when you start attacking the other people in the chat. I don't care. You can attack me all you want. You can attack me whenever you want. I can definitely handle it. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I can guarantee you that. Tales of the Rebellion with Omega and Wedge and Teles. I'd love more Tales stories. I just don't. I mean, Tales of the Rebellion's kind of like, I'd rather Tales of the Sith first, Tales of the Bounty Hunter, Tales of the Jedi. I'd want more of those stories. Tales of the Empire would be pretty cool too, because you could tell like Thrawn, you could tell Tarkin. You could continue that for multiple seasons after just the first one. I think Barriss and Morgan Elsbeth, Jesus, my brain is just gone today, I guess. Barriss and Morgan Elsbeth are probably they probably weren't the best choices. Not that they weren't good, because I love Morgan Elsbeth, and I think the Thrawn stuff in her episodes were good. I feel like with Tales of the Jedi, Dooku and Ahsoka carried their episodes. With Tales of the Empire, Morgan Elsbeth and Barriss didn't really carry their episodes. The characters around them did. Thrawn, Grievous, Inquisitors, the Grand Inquisitor, the what was it, the fifth sister? Who was that? The second? No, it wasn't the second sister. But those characters carried the show. So I think you got to bring in more mainstream characters. Yeah, for sure. Indeed. Harrison says, the sequel trilogy, as hated as they are, there are some of the top grossing films of all time. Star Wars movies always pull numbers in the box office. I wouldn't say always. Yes, the sequel trilogy is very profitable, or it made a lot of money, we'll put it that way. A movie like Solo actually lost money. So I wouldn't say that anything you throw out there is going to be a mega hit. That's why I think The Mandalorian and Grogu has so much riding on its shoulders, because it has to be good. It has to be at that level of people want more Star Wars movies. So it doesn't have to just make $1 billion or $2 billion. It has to be good. That's the biggest thing. Yeah. Indeed. The Last Jedi is the only Star Wars movie of the 9 that I didn't see in cinema. I've been a fan for close to 40 some odd years. That's wild. You didn't even see it? I feel like that would be more the case with the Rise of Skywalker, no? Because The Last Jedi going in, you wouldn't really know that it was going to go the way that it did. This is not going to go the way that you think, you know? Solo was buried between 2 epic Marvel movies. Solo didn't really have a lot going for it. At least it was coming off 2 mega Marvel movies. I believe, was it 2018 when Solo dropped? What year did Solo release? 2018? What year did Solo release? Your brother dragged you to see Rise of Skywalker. That's funny. Somebody, what year did Solo release? Because right before it was The Last Jedi, so a lot of fans were very hurt by that. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of fans were hurt by that, and they didn't really want to go see more Star Wars in the theaters. Indeed. Nobody's got when Solo released? Come on, Chad. 2018. Okay, yeah, so 2018. 2018, if I correct me if I'm wrong, but it came out in May of 2018, right? Yeah, May 25th, 2018. Is May not, or the last weekend of April, not the same release date of Infinity War? Is it not the same release month as Infinity War? Like that's just wrong. They really should have thought about that before they did that. Yeah. Solo is one of my favorites. Solo is a great Star Wars movie. It just is. Like, it's very, very underrated. I was watching it on TV the other day, actually. It was just on cable television. I was just watching it. It's very, very underrated. But it was just the release schedule for it. Coming after The Last Jedi, just a few months before that, coming in between Infinity War and whatever else was going on there. Like, there's a lot that just wasn't going for it. Yeah. Yeah. I saw it in IMAX and it was amazing. It was amazing. I love Solo, and it is a movie I go back and rewatch a lot, actually. Yeah. For sure. He is a Hollywood legend, and that's his last role? What are you talking about? Last role? What are you talking about? Oh, Brandon had to kick him too? Who the hell was that guy? Where was I? The last Star Wars film I brought my friends and family to see multiple times was episode 7. We also saw episode 2 and episode 3 multiple times. Nice. Nice. Was that guy attacking people too? What the hell's going on today? Jeanette says, I like what I like. Make up my own mind. Ratings are damned. Sorry. Can't wait to see Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Enjoyed The Acolyte and or Obi-Wan Kenobi. The young actress who played Princess Leia. Yeah, she was great. But I agree with that. Make up your own mind. Stop allowing other content creators to change your own opinion on something. It's crazy. Hope you do a playthrough on your channel for Star Wars Outlaws. We definitely will be. So yeah, a Star Wars video game hasn't come out since, well, I guess there have been games, but a big playthrough game like this hasn't come out since Jedi Survivor last year. And shout out to any of you guys who were here when we played through Jedi Survivor, because I know it was only 8 of you. I know Zap was one of them. Shout out to Zap. But I played through Jedi Survivor, and that was a freaking blast. Jedi Survivor was so fun to play through, so I'm hoping we're going to have a similar experience with Star Wars Outlaws with a lot more of you now. Because, yeah, we were probably having 6-ish people during a live stream, and now we got 91 currently right now, so there's a lot more of you. That's for damn sure. So, yes, we will be doing a run-through or a playthrough, whatever you want to call it, of Star Wars Outlaws as soon as that comes out, for sure. Was it really the same guy with a different username? Do you really not have anything better to do than just to come into this chat and crap on people? It's crazy. That's insanity. All right, let's ask this, because Dom says Tales of the Sith. If there were to be another Tales of the blank, what would you rather it be? Tales of the Bounty Hunter, Tales of the Sith, Tales of the Smuggler, Tales of the Rebellion, Tales of the Underworld, Tales of whatever. What would you want to see? What would you want to see? John Groom says, I've seen some bad reviews regarding the mechanics of Star Wars Outlaws. Really? I have not really seen those. I got to look into the reviews more. I honestly haven't really checked them out, but yeah. Tales of the Droids, nice. Tales of the Ren. Okay. Tales of the Sith, nice. Do a poll. Should we do a poll? All right, let's do it. Which versions of Star Wars Outlaw did you pre-order? I honestly haven't pre-ordered it yet. I'm hoping that won't become an issue later. But maybe it will. I really don't know. Should we do it? Do a poll? But for a poll, I can only put in 4 options. We'll put it this way. By the way, that other poll of do you think Pedro Pascal will show his face in the Mando movie? 76% of you said yes. That's pretty interesting, if you ask me. Tales of Basil. That's hilarious. Okay. Which would you rather? Tales of the Sith? Tales of the Bounty Hunter? Tales of... What should be our third one here? What should be our third one here? Tales of the Droids. We could do Tales of the Droids. Yeah, we'll do Tales of the Droids. Tales of the Droids. And then we'll do Other for the fourth one, because we only get 4 options. Other. Again, anything like this, like a Tales of the Sith, a new animated show, could be announced at D23 in a couple weeks. Yeah. Is the Star Wars Outlaws game out yet, Mike? No, it doesn't come out till August 30th. August 30th. Tales of the Senate. Yeah. Tales of Luke Skywalker. I'd be down for that. Beskar Steel, what is up? What is up? Tales of the Many. Nice. Wasn't there a Droid Tales show announced at one time? There are Droid Tales stuff, like Lego Droid Tales or whatever, on Disney Plus. But no, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Was it called Droid Tales? Hang on, I can probably find it pretty quickly. Star Wars shows announced. Should be an image. Yeah, here it is. It was called Star Wars: A Droid Story. So you remember when Kathleen Kennedy in about 2020, I think it was 2019, no 2020. 2020 announced all this. Let's see how much of this came to fruition. Indiana Jones, yes. Acolyte, yes. Kenobi, yes. Bad Batch, yes. Andor, yes. Willow, yes. Rangers, no. Ahsoka, yes. Rogue Squadron, no. Lando is technically still in the works, but no. A droid story, no. Mandalorian, yes. Visions, yes. Children of Blood and Bones was actually completely canceled, so no. So of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Of the 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, wait, 9. 9 of them were finished. Willow's already been thrown off of Disney Plus. It was finished, but didn't happen. But yes, a droid story is right there. That never happened. That never happened. KOTOR Tales? That'd be cool, but I don't know. I think we're going to be getting KOTOR far into the future. Yeah. By the way, 55% of you guys say Tales of the Sith right now, which is crazy. That's a lot of people. 9 out of 14 is not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad at all, actually. And a few of them weren't even Star Wars projects. Willow got Thanos. Yeah, Willow came out, and then almost 6 months after it was released, it was taken off of Disney Plus. That's crazy. I'd like to see a series about a Jedi becoming a Sith and then becoming a Jedi again. Okay. Any specific character you'd like to see that happen to? Matthew says, they should not be cowardly. At least put Willow on Blu-ray, the 1988 film and the show. I agree. I mean, they made the show. Why not just leave it on Disney Plus? Like, you had to take it down? It's a little weird. Where can I watch Willow? LOL? You can't. The show, you can't. The movie is still on Disney Plus, I believe. Yeah. So a series about Revan? Yeah. I mean, you could do that, but that's going to be a lot more than just one show. Hopefully, if they do go to the Old Republic and they do stories about Revan, it's going to be a saga. It's going to be an entire nine movies, 3 trilogies, shows, spin-offs. Like, I want what the Skywalker saga is now. I want a whole nother Skywalker saga inside of the Old Republic. Like 11 movies. It's 11 movies, right? Yeah, 11 movies, shows, animated shows, live action shows, all of it. Yeah. Wasn't Children of Blood and Bone what became Skeleton Crew? No. Children of Blood and Bone was something, it wasn't Star Wars, actually. It was something completely different. Yeah. Yeah. The Revan saga. I don't know if you call it the Revan saga, but maybe like the Old Republic saga, because Revan's going to be the main character, but he's not going to be the only main character, you know? Would you guys want you just said we need a Vader series. Would you guys want a Darth Vader series? I understand Vader is literally the main character of Star Wars, but should he get more? I want more. I know I shouldn't, but I do. Okay, let's talk about this. Star Wars comics are officially now bridging the gap between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy. So finally, after years and years and years, over a decade, I believe, of doing comics in that original trilogy time period, we're moving to the sequel trilogy. And we're starting with the Battle of Jaku. So the stories we wanted to hear for all these years about Luke, Leia, and Han in this time period, we're finally getting in comics and hopefully in live action in the Mandoverse time period. So it seems like almost all Star Wars media is focusing on this time period. You got Battle of Jakku. These are two different variation covers, I think. Oh, no, they're two different issues. This is issue 2. You got Bib Fortuna. Okay, so you got Bib Fortuna on the throne. You got Mon Mothma, Leia. This is before he became really, really, really fat and then died to Boba Fett at the end of season 2 with the Mandalorian. But this is the Battle of Jakku. Wait, is that a Dark Trooper right there? Hang on. So this is what's to expect from San Diego ComicCon 2024. The final battle for the Galactic Civil War begins. So this is after Vader and Palpatine are dead, and now we're finally getting to see what's the aftermath of that. The Battle of Jakku, Insurgents Risings, is a new Marvel maxi series written by Alex Segura, with pencils by Leonard Kirks and others. This jumps forward to after the time of Return of the Jedi to witness the success of the Rebel Alliance. The final battle of the Galactic Civil War begins in the first issue, October 2nd of 2024. Today, get your first look at the cover photo, and this is it. Does that look like a Dark Trooper to you? A little bit. Maybe an early edition of it. This is a prequels graphic novel. This is the next High Republic novel. This is a Star Wars encyclopedia. Pretty cool. Another High Republic novel with Yoda going ham. Then they got a panel that's hosted by Patton Oswalt, which is pretty cool too. That's all that's coming this weekend at San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah. But this is cool. We're going to the Battle of Jakku. This is something that has been explored a little bit in the Aftermath novels, but now we're going to get to see it in comics, and hopefully we'll get to see some sort of references to it or whatever in live action and in animation. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. I thought it was Wrecker on one of those covers. Wrecker? Which one? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? It seems like the comics are reusing characters and stories from canceled Star Wars Uprising mobile game. These stormtroopers and Imperial officers are directly from that game. Really? I did not know that. That'd be cool. How about a series about General Grievous? I'd watch that. I'd watch that a lot. Patton is totally responsible for Boba Fett's making out of the Sarlacc pit. It's definitely he's definitely the reason why it's filmed that way. Yeah, if you don't know that, in Parks and Rec, Patton Oswalt's character, I forget what his name is in that show, but he explains, before the sequel trilogy ever happened, how he thought the sequel trilogy should start, with Boba Fett's hand coming out of the sand and coming out of the Sarlacc pit, and that's exactly how they filmed the beginning of the Book of Boba Fett. Yeah. I thought the Battle of Jakku would be good for an animated show. Me too. They're going to probably explore it in the comics, maybe in animation too. I'd be down for that. I low-key liked Phase 2 of the High Republic. The storytelling was focused and tightly woven, probably because it was a small scale. I've not read Phase 2. I've read Phase 1, which I thought was pretty good. I'll have to get to Phase 2 at some point. Yeah. Yeah. What about Mark Hamill's Jedi Temple TV series, Mike? I'd be down for that. Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple as an animated show, I would 100% be down for that. I'm actually going to end this poll as we are going to get on out of here very, very soon. Hello there.
Hello there.
So 56% of you want Tales of the Sith, 22% say Tales of the Bounty Hunter, 10% say Tales of the Droid, 10% say Other, which is cool. Okay, let's just do one more thing. We started the stream off with this. We're going to sort of end the stream with this. Let's celebrate a little bit because we hit 66,000 subscribers. Order 66. So let's, Palpatine, take it away.
Execute Order 66.
yeah. It's so cool. It's awesome. It is so awesome. I cannot thank you guys enough. This is insane. Insane. Order 66. Whew. Crazy. Okay. Matthew says, I wanted to see Luke Skywalker between episodes 6 and 7 in live action, but Mark is too old and Disney is too scared to recast because of the Solo movie. I think they'll deep fake it. I think he will be a part of what's coming in the Mandoverse with all this other stuff. I appreciate you guys. This is great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Road to 69K begins? Yes, indeed it does. Well, first you got to get to 67, and then 68, and then 69. But if you guys don't know, if you're new to the channel, at 100,000 subscribers, I will be dumping this entire cup of water on my head. Thanks, guys. Okay. I am going to get on out of here, though. This was absolutely crazy. I can't believe we just went for 2 hours. But a lot of cool Mandalorian Grogu news with the finally starting filming and possibility of Pedro Pascal showing his face in the movie. Skeleton Crew is coming very soon. Hopefully a trailer coming out in just a few short weeks. Some Star Wars news coming from this weekend, San Diego ComicCon. And, of course, The Acolyte has come to an end. But that does not mean that there won't be a second season. And we got this cool new description for Darth Plagueis as well. But with that being said, I am going to have to get on out of here. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate all of you. Smash a freaking like on the stream if you have not yet. Smash a freaking like on it if you haven't yet. James says, I thought you were doing blue milk. I'm not dumping blue milk on my head. That'll be all sticky and gross. I'm going to do it with just water instead. But I appreciate it. Smash a like on the stream if you have not yet. Hit that subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video. And my pretty face will show up in the recommended feed of yours. Von Go says, I've been here since 7K. That's awesome. Do you guys remember how long ago you subscribed to the channel? All right. Whatever. And may the force be with you. Always. Oh yeah, what a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate every last one of you more than you will ever know. 66,000. Absolutely insane. You guys are the absolute best. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives, and good night, everybody.